Okay, I call this meeting to order at 7:06. Are there any subtractions or changes to the agenda? Please raise your hand. Anna?
Can you strike the SVT program count?
Okay. Devon?
Can you strike back, please?
Phoebe?
Strike TJF, please.
Josh?
Strike capital contingency, please.
Sarah?
Discussion about the government action.
And Naomi?
Never mind.
All right, if there's no more changes, could we get a motion to approve the agenda?
I would approve the agenda.
Sarah motions, can we get a second? Anna seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. All right, by vote 12-0, the motion passes and the agenda for this week is approved. All right, next up, we have the minutes. These are the minutes from last week's meeting, correct?
14.
Okay,
4.
all right, awesome. Does anyone have any changes or clarifications that need to be made to the minutes from last week's meeting? All right, if not, can we get a motion to approve the minutes from last week's meeting? Okay, Anna motion, Sarah second, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, and by a vote of 13-0, the motion passes and last week's minutes are approved. All right, next up is public comment. Public comment is a time for individuals from the association to come to council and give their feedback or, have, answer any questions or give any comments that they may have. So if you're here in person or if you're here, virtually, please raise your hand and keep your hand raised so that we can recognize you for public comment. All right, so we'll do, person to person, Clara?
Hello. Hi, Sarah, Crawford. I'm gonna give our, I guess, 2 weekly updates, because I wasn't here last week. But so quick update, we finished our recruitment drive. We have a lot of exciting people and volunteers, coordinators that we're really excited about. We had over 40 people at our spring kickoff meeting. That means that for the whole year, we've had the biggest, or like UCLA had the biggest kickoffs for all of the student parks across the country. Also in highlight this week, the California Fish and Game Commission is having a meeting that a bunch of Cal Park students from across the state are going to give public comment at. A really big opportunity to give them feedback about increasing marine protected areas in the state. If you guys are interested in giving public comment as well, you can email me and I'll say it too. Also, lastly, next week we're running a mini pledge drive for spring. As a quick reminder, funded by 30,000 students across the state to pledge to add attending our California activities to their school. And we also have a contract with the university that we have of the undergraduate population being a conference member in order for young campus. The work we do and one of these players that I want to for like student so we're going to Congress using
So that we have one the individual that was here for in the attendance. Maya.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maya Leila. So I just had a comment about the date of the president's banquet. So I was hoping to go. I know it's somewhat about like diversity, inclusion, right? But it's set right on Eid, which is the largest, most important holiday for Muslim students. It starts tonight and then ends Friday night-ish. So that's sort of like a point of contingency I just wanted to make everyone aware of.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that comment. I can email you about that or your organization. What organization do you represent again?
I would be there for activism through policy, ATP, but I'm now speaking for the entirety of the MSA and FAM, which is Faces of African Muslims, just to get more awareness and more inclusion when we like do events, be more aware of religions and spiritual practices that aren't dominantly Christian, and like the dates and everything, just to be aware of that.
Okay, got it. I'll reach out to, MSA, you said you're speaking on behalf of MSA, I'll reach out to them and, figure something out. We set this date like a month and a half ago, and it was kind of based off of the chancellor's schedule as well, because the chancellor's coming to speak. Okay, thank you, I appreciate that comment.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else? All right, we'll be closing public comment at 7:12. All right, now we'll be going into funding, contingency programming, Josh.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. No, we'll probably have some questions on this, as this week was the last week of contingency funding. Just wanted to give an update on that. So we were able to fund events all the way up till the end of finals week, just to combat earlier than anticipated depleting fund levels. This week, we received over 230 applications in 1 week alone. So this year we received over 1,050 applications. Last year in total, we received only 600. So vastly more applications this year, and 230 in a week was pretty nuts. Not everyone was approved for funding due to limited funds and how much we were requested for. And we prioritized banquets and DE&I initiatives and oriented events over social events and retreats, just for the nature of limiting funding. We also prioritized organizations who did not use the contingency fund this year, or this was their first or second time applying, just to combat, some other student groups who were sending in 8, 9, 10 applications all at the end. With that being said, this week we had a total contingency request for $297,000 and $297,513.62, and we recommend an allocation of $14,250.08 for 228 non-USAC entity events and 3 USAC entity events. And this would wrap up contingency programming for this academic year. I know it's a lot of information, so happy to dive into any questions and any and all questions for this, but I'll put all the information in the chat right now as well.
Thank you, Josh. Does anyone have any questions about contingency programming for this week? If not, can we get a motion to approve?
I second.
Okay, and a motion, Sarah seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. All right, and by a vote of 13-0, the motion passes and contingency program is approved for the week. Next up, we have SFS allocation.
Everyone, so for this week for SFS, I'm so sorry, my connection's a bit spotty, and I'm pulling up the allocations. So for SFS this week, we had a total requested amount for $5,836.67 from a total of 9 student organizations. This would be allocating funds to 2 CSC affiliated organizations and 7 non-CSC affiliated organizations. And I'm dropping that in the chat right now.
Do you have a question about that?
No, oh, sorry, my hand.
Okay, does anyone have any questions about SFS allocations or any comments? All right, if not, this consent item is approved. Next up, we have ASRF allocation.
Hi folks, so this week ASRF allocated $3,120.13 to 3 non-USAC entities. I will also put that in the chat. And then to give you all an update about where our ASRF funds stand on as of right now. We are really close to full allocation. We have $4,574.26 left for ASRF. So there are any orgs out there that still want to apply. We encourage that you all get your applications in within the next few days to within the next week, because we're really not sure that we'll have the total capacity that we would like to have to fund all of the organizations that are requesting funds from us. So just try to get in there as soon as you can. And then for TGMF, can I move forward with that one, or should I hold off, Carl?
I'm sorry.
Should I also state the TGMF allocation?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so for TGMF, we allocated $4,417 to 3 non-USAC entities. I'll also put that in the chat, and then similar to ASRF, we're starting to get really close to full allocation. For TGMF, we have, let me pull it up, $1,842.50 left. So please apply as soon as you can. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any questions about RF allocations or AAC travel and grant allocation? All right, if not, they're both consent items and they are approved. Next up is ARC allocation.
Hi, everyone. This week we approved $45,510 with 69 cents to 22 non-USAC entities and $5,000 to 1 USAC entity.
All right, does anyone have any questions about ARC allocation? All right, if not, it is a consent item and it is approved.
Wait, can I say one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I just want to say for the record, we still have around $25,000 in our in like our self-apply for ARC. So please apply. Shout out Tyra, please apply for the needs that you needed for the food for your event. And let if your office needs it to, please apply to ARC and any orgs you're a part of. We're gonna try to make a post about it as well to let people know, so that we can use all the funds left in ARC for the end of this year. But we're still accepting applications on a rolling basis.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. All right, we don't have any strong presentations tonight or any appointments. And so now we'll be moving to officer reports. So for this week, my office just kind of, we had a meeting, cabinet meeting and directors meeting, just discussing some of the funding that we did get for some of the initiatives. So we're still working out getting the abortion fee funding to ACT Center, and also the money that was allocated for CAPS. We're working on getting the administrative aspect of that. We did a career fair. We partnered with the Career Center for a career fair, pretty successful event, and we're probably gonna do something pretty soon again with them. And then we're just looking to plan some out with the entire office pretty soon. Oh yeah, the banquet. Yeah, finalizing the banquet. So, or at least the list for it. I see a lot of councilors signed up for it, so that's good. If you haven't, please try to. I'll see if we can find a spot maybe, but it's a lot of people signed up. And then, oh yeah, I spoke at Brewing Day, spoke at, I welcome all the new admins, so that was pretty cool. And I also spoke at, this week, you know, there is an ASU, admin week, so spoke at the, Umoja transfer event on Monday. It's pretty awesome, you know, a lot of transfers who potentially might go to UCLA. So yeah, please get involved with it if you can. Tyra's been doing a pretty good job with this, you know, this whole week, her whole team, Umoja, in general. So yeah, I see IVP has a written report, so I'll pass it to External Vice President. Devon.
Hi, I'm sorry. Did you just call me? My Wi-Fi in my room is acting up.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, You can give it a record.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sick. This week my team had our all staff meeting yesterday where we went over a couple of career choices and we took a little exams that Career Center has regarding our personality traits and our best careers, and we had an exec meeting. We also, with the help of Tyra and also Biha, we're planning the Transfer Lobby Day, which is up and coming. We're also planning DC and finalizing our DC lobbying trip for that. We're also planning or prepping for the Santa Cruz UCSA meeting that's coming up, I think, next weekend. I had a meeting with GCR to go over a Sacramento trip that Carl and I might be possibly attending at the top of May. Also, Carl, I need to message you because anyways, but yeah, our first back cycle for spring quarter is ending this Friday. And then we will be going through interview process and the first round of money will be allocated. Again, I express those that received this first round, please use the money that we have and we give to you. Turnaround for SGA is a lot faster now, so you should be able to get it. So please use it. You have 2 weeks to do it or else it goes back in the fund. And I don't think I'm forgetting anything, but hopefully not. If not, I'll send it in the chat. But yeah, thank you.
General 1 has a written report. General 2.
Hey y'all, so same as always, booked and busy. So last week we, me and Danny hosted the mental health event. So today we followed up by posting some resources by Dr. Jazz. We also highlighted that Dr. Jazz has kind of like office hours kind of set up in the BBRC to talk privately with students about their mental health, how they're doing, and just to talk, which is really cool that we have that resource available. I also attended Bruin Day and Black Admit weekends. I had the opportunity to talk to some admitted students about USAC, my major and my overall experience at UCLA. I also had a few folks ask me about research since I was recently awarded the McNair Research Scholar position. I also attended Kat's Springing Forward event, which was really cool. Had to have some great conversations there while we made mood/vision board. So that was pretty fun. Great event, Alicia. And then we have, I'm happy to say, we have 2 Black Learning Assistants in the Black Bruin Resource Center. So that'll be every Monday and Wednesday to help students in some of the STEM courses for life science courses in specific. We have LS7C and LS30B, so to help with coding and biology, which is tough classes. So I'm glad we were able to secure that. And then lastly, I also attended the Cookies and Conversation over in Res Life. So it was really nice to talk to like current students and some candidates about my USAC experience, kind of why I ran. And we had some funny hypothetical questions, I will say, for folks that were there. Also got to hear from like Sarah, Phoebe, Milan about their experience. So it was nice to see similarities and differences. This week, attended the Spring Entities Lunch. So we got to talk about I brought up the fact that we need better support for some of the food pantries and food insecurity support on campus, specifically the ones in AAP, the BBRC, Transfer Center, and some more spaces around. For the permits for Bruins, we sent an email to awarded participants because there seemed like there was some miscommunication. Students were asking me, I got a bunch of DMs about like where their refund was. So I'm happy to say that it looks like most of the refunds have been sent out. So that's good. A lot of people are asking if the program's going to be coming back. So going to be looking into sources of funding for that. Also supporting the petition to keep Finzi as the BBRC director. Me and Eliana are going to talk a little bit about that towards the end of today's meeting. And then I also got the chance to talk today to Dr. Elizabeth Gonzalez, who is the inaugural director of the Hispanic Serving Institution at UCLA. So she's working on how once we are designated as a Hispanic Serving Institution, like how the funding process will go for folks that want to apply for different programs to be supported, what new programs we're going to be having at UCLA, and how to really engage students in this process, like having more town halls. So I really encourage everyone to go next Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. It's hybrid, so it's on Zoom and in the Bruin reception room, which is in Ackerman. There will also be food, so really recommend. And yeah, that's about it. I'm also working on the transition material.
Agenda Rep 3.
Hi, awesome people. Been working on disability peer mentoring program, and we're actually having our kickoff event Thursday. It'll be 7 to 8:15 over Zoom. We're screening a really cool movie about disabled people's civil disobedience. And yeah, that'll be up on Instagram and stuff. We all can share it and go. Would love that. What else? We're going to be presenting to Campus Retention Committee probably next week on how we can collaborate with them. Thanks to Ryan Factora for inviting us. And had a meeting with Aaliyah Orange from Rise, who's really cool, about how to reestablishing our event on handling the addictive features of the internet and improving our mental health. So that should be happening like first week of May. Thank you, Tyra, for making that connection. And keep an eye, stay tuned. We're hoping to set up like maybe a weekly support group for students coming off of this first event. So thank you, Jessica, for walking me through the surplus process, like how the recipients actually get the money. So yeah, I'm working with Reggie Miles, Simone Anderson, and Disability Peer Mentoring Project on that. We're actually considering for the African Students Union summer programs, having the folks who are going to be working in those get hired through a USAC office as a way of keeping it student run, because they have to get hired officially through someone, and we don't want it to be CPO, for instance. So if anyone would be able to do, don't think I can do that because I'm not running again because I'm graduating early and I'll be out of office. So I don't think I'll be able to do it, but if any of y'all can do that, let me or Simone know. What else? Think I'll be speaking at Climate Action Now UCLA's Valley tomorrow. So check out their Instagram. You may have seen their flyers. Come out and support us. I work with Alicia on a resolution. So thank you, Alicia. You're awesome. And thank you, Anna, for engaging with us and sharing your concerns and just taking the time to be respectful, taking the time to talk with me. I think that's it. You all are awesome. Great to be with you.
Thank you. Next up, I see Academic Affairs Commission has a written report. Next up is Campus Events Commission.
Hi everyone. So we have a couple events going on. Thursday from 12 to 1, we have the artist Liv coming to perform, so that'll be really cool. It'll be on Kirkhoff Patio, and it's in promotion of an event that we're doing at the Hammer Arts Museum next Friday, April 28th. It's basically like a concert art gallery. There's a cash bar, I think, and like art installations, and BJ the Chicago Kid and Cruza will be performing. So that's open and free to like all students. You don't have to RSVP or anything. You can just like show up. So that'll be cool. And then we have a like sneak screening of like Hey God, It's Me, Margaret, in JBT. So that'll also be really cool, but just got a lot of events coming up. So this concert on Thursday is going to be like a bi-weekly concert series. Yeah, till the end of the quarter and hopefully to continue. But that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, so Community Service Commissioner.
Hi, everyone. So I have some exciting announcements to make today for my updates for the Community Service Commission. The first, I'm going to start off with funding. We have 2 upcoming deadlines for community service money to do all of your programs for any student organization on campus. The first is the CS mini application, which closes this Saturday. So please, if you are considering doing any programming this quarter that involves anything regarding community service, please consider applying. The next funding opportunity is the CS Transportation Fund. That application closes this Friday. So these are two huge funding opportunities for any student org on campus to apply for to receive funding opportunity. The next funding opportunity, which is new, is a scholarship opportunity. I dropped in the chat a link, but the Robert S. Michaels Service Award is open for any undergraduate student leader that is not graduating, that does community service work leadership out in the community. The link tinyurl.com/CSC-RSM23 is where you can find the full scholarship application. This is a $1,000 scholarship application. In addition to, well, this is like a beautiful opportunity to highlight your own service journey and get money for school. So please consider applying. Please spread out all this information. Visit our Instagram CSC at UCLA CSC for more updates. So that's on the end of funding. The next thing that are coming up for the Community Service Commission is our Youth Empowerment Town Hall, which is happening April 26th. April 26th is, I believe, week 4. And this is an opportunity for, next week on Wednesday. This is an opportunity for any campus organization that is doing any work with youth. So this can be like a mentorship group or any mentorship orgs, orgs that good and mentor K-12 students, mother orgs, anyone who interacts with youth and addresses anything that regards advocacy in youth is invited to come. This is a brainstorming session, a solution building session, solidarity, networking opportunity. It's such a dynamic and productive space to really foster community, but also foster unity to make sure that we're all working collectively to build a movement to best serve the needs of disadvantaged communities. More details are again on our Instagram at UCLA CSC. And I highly encourage everyone in council to attend. So right now, can I get all council members who are planning to attend, please raise your hand, or send a representative from your office to please raise their hand just to get a little pulse check. This is an amazing opportunity that every council office. Naomi, is that you covering your face? It's an amazing opportunity for that every council office should commit to attending. So I heavily encourage everyone to attend. And then, just a quick little shout out to the elections board. All candidate profiles are up and live today. So I'm so excited for the election season this year. Gonna be an exciting one. That's it for me.
Okay. Awesome. Next, Cultural Affairs Commissioner has a written report. Next is Facilities Commissioner.
Cool. So last week I attended the Campus Bike Advisory Committee, and they had some presentations from graduate students about Westwood and its like bikeability, its pedestrian friendliness, and kind of like the different like local funding sources for like projects throughout LA. But the thing that's like the most relevant to kind of like Facilities Commission or like kind of the stuff that I've been talking about this year, LADOT was at the meeting and they talked about the metrics that they use to do the pedestrian scrambles crossing. So that's like where you can cross diagonally. And that was something that was brought up at USAC before to maybe implement one on a Strathmore and Gailey because it's like a heavily walked like intersection. There's also like not too much like safety down Gailey. People like race down the road. And like I've heard a lot of stories about like students getting hit. Well, apparently, according to LADOT, that intersection is actually pretty good in terms of like its eligibility for pedestrian scramble. It requires like, I guess like 300 like people crossing like per hour, like 30% of like vehicle volume during the peak hour, whatever random statistics. And they said that it would be ideal for CBAC and like students if they want to get involved to help prepare some of the information to file a submission for pedestrian scramble, which opens during the fall. So yeah, that was pretty exciting. I also met with the people in John Wooden Center Board of Governors last week. The meetings finally started like around end of winter quarter with UCLA Rec, and Stephen Price, one of the members of JWC VOG, presented to the FAC general meeting of this report that reached like almost like 700 to 800 students that talks about issues about the gym. They like analyzed this the student affairs like research information. Okay, I don't know how to like say the acronym. So like that, the data from that survey, and like found a lot of like mental health benefits and how perhaps like helping fix the gym like would improve mental health on campus. So then like it would like take strain off of CAPS. So that's like kind of what they're arguing in their report. And then they also collected data on, I guess, like wait times specifically in strength training zones, people waiting up to like 15 to 20 minutes for equipment. I think especially as people are like coming back in person, the gym is becoming more popular and it's becoming a concern for students. So they're trying to leverage John Wooden Center Board of Governors to like perhaps create more changes while there's like seismic improvement renovations that have low-key been pushed off like for like at least a year now, but hopefully will be addressed soon. So that's kind of what they're mobilizing for. And then another person, Ben, who has been to council before, who works in EVP as like director of federal relations, he also talks about like maybe mobilizing our like, oh my gosh, I can't think of words, congressional representative to like get funding because Wooden is like kind of running out of its funding. Something about like, I don't know if the referendum like, or it's something like with some sort of funding was sunsetting. So that's kind of what they're working on there. And then let's see, sorry, I feel like this update is becoming longer than I was supposed to make it. Okay. And then I also went to Cookies and Conversations, and that was a great time on Thursday. But in terms of things that are upcoming, Bruin Bazaar is going to be doing a clothing swap on the Hill from 3 to 4:30 p.m. It's part of the climate summit that's on the Hill this weekend. I'll be speaking at the event during the panel from 1 to 15 to 2:15 in Cobell Commons. And the Sustainability and Public Service LLCs are like involved with that event, but there's going to be a lot of other students there too. I know there's like giveaways, there's like a little like tabling market thing. It's like this whole day event in the afternoon on the Hill. Our Environmental Justice Now committee is bringing in some Cambodian workers that I believe are affiliated with some of the procurement or like some of the suppliers at UCLA on Thursday, the 27th, so next week at 2 p.m. UCLA Labor Studies Center or Labor Studies is trying to get a location secured for that too. And then the transit referendum folks that are like, in fact, have started doing outreach on that. They started flyering today. So that's pretty exciting too. And then Sustainagoals Committee is launching the reusable mugs at Kirkhoff Coffee House, hopefully around week 7 or 8. They're working with Reusi, the technology to like return the mugs and like building out the app this week now that the licensing agreement has been signed. The people in the Building or Space Committee, they're still trying to figure out like what are better like study spaces on campus for students, just so that like people don't have to like crowd around and stuff. And they're looking into like talking to the assistant vice chancellor of facilities management to see if there could be more outlets at bomb shelter and public affairs to see if that could be possible. And yeah, that's pretty much what FAC has been up to. Yeah, I'm trying to see, did I miss anything? Oh yes, for the Green Initiative Fund, we have like a lot more applications than usual. So we will be pushing out decisions for those hopefully by next week.
Right. Financial Support Commissioner.
Can people hear me from here?
I think so.
Okay. So in FSC this week, we have, yesterday I had a meeting with the New York Times representative and Fernando and Jonathan to just flush out the little details. So that went well. We rented out a few additional laptops and goggles. I attended the Movies and Conversations for USAC. And so I wanted to give an update on the audit process. So far, we've only received information from one office, which has extended past the deadline. So I just wanted to request again from the council members to please send in their financial information, because I'm sure we all value financial transparency, and we're just trying to make sure the students have an understanding of where their fees are going. If you haven't spent your office funds, you can just email us saying that you not spent office funds as of yet this year. But we'll send another email about it tomorrow, but we'll be extending the deadline to end of week this week. But please send in your financial information. And then I think that was, and then tomorrow we have a meeting. I finally tracked down the person who's in charge of the GitHub. So he's going to give me the login, and that will open the expenditure viewer, which we can publish financial information on a more public platform. And we'll be able to have access to USAC financial data from previous years. I think that is it for now. Oh, and then also shout out, last thing, there is a climate rally tomorrow in Murphy. If anyone wants to come represent USAC, I will also probably be posting about that on my Instagram. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Student Wellness Commission has a written report. Tyler here. Tyler's not here. I think she's.
So sorry for Tyra. I am her proxy, and she has asked me to read a written report. So Tyra is currently at with David and Abiha and other transfers at Transfer Lobby Day in the Student Activities Center. And her report is as follows. For her office, she emceed at Umoja Day yesterday, which was a great event for Black community college students. She went to the Latin Latinx at mid-weekends this past Sunday and said a welcome to UCLA on behalf of USAC. And she is currently planning Transfer Unity Week. So for collabs, so far they're collabing with SWD, Unica, and Urban Bruins.
Awesome, thank you. International Student Representative has a written report. So we'll get into admin rep report. Is Orlando isn't here? You're on Zoom?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. My earplug popped out. Hope you all are doing really well. Just one quick update. I don't know if you remember, but around fall quarter, Dana Fall Quarter had mentioned there's a new requirement for for returning organizations to complete a workshop requirement. Not all of the groups attended a workshop, so we've extended it to the end of this quarter. So if you or other organizations who haven't attended this, this is a requirement for all groups who return this school year. So one of the penalties that we are considering for not attending this is either suspending the organization or preventing them from making room reservations. So please, if you are a part of an organization that hasn't done this, make sure to be on the lookout for this email to attend the workshops. There'll be several sprinkled throughout the quarter. Okay, that's all I have for today.
Jessica, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know why. I was like, wait a second. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Like Alexandra or Alexandra.
I don't know why I was like, yeah, Jessica, I'm sorry.
So I'd like to leave the student government services updates to Jonathan. If he has any, but I also wanted to really talk about programming updates. For the had done a poll through our marketing just to kind of gauge how students are attending programs and what kind of going on in the future. So I wanted to share those results. I'm interested in hearing what the results would be. So we had this basically in the Instagram stories for ASUCLA. We had about 450 students respond in terms of what programs they attended. We asked about health and wellness and none. Submission from
Wait, Jessica, if that's you talking, I like can't hear anything at all. I honestly can't really hear anybody in the room. I think the sound is pretty poor.
Is that the same for everybody, or is that just Phoebe's computer?
Oh, it just improved for me.
Better. Testing. I'm gonna keep going, but I'll send these out to you all for those who might have missed the information that I just shared. So don't worry, I'll email it to you all. And then the other upcoming programs that I just wanted to mention coming up in the next week. We're co-programming with Academic Affairs Commission, medical healthy path Coast Guard workshop. That's going to be Wednesday, every 6 p.m. at Grand Salon. Also, the children's show is holding a statement the 25th. It was really great. A lot of great a little bit about role if they don't know about it. So hopefully this is the first of many events of this nature where we're bringing the board together with council to have open conversations. So if you have any feedback on the events or you can improve it or do it differently next time, please let me know. That's it.
Thank you. Is Steven here? Steven? All right, Lori.
I don't know if you guys hear me.
Stephen's in like the attendees.
Does Steven have? Oh. Can y'all promote Steven? Steven's been here the whole time. Hey, Steven, how you doing?
Everyone. Okay. So I don't really have any updates. I will say there was some interest, it seemed, to at some point in the future potentially form a USAC alumni group. And I think that's actually a great idea to get students involved, young alumni involved. I think truly if that's something that you're interested in doing at some point, it really has to be kind of recent USAC graduates that drive that effort. So if there is interest, I'm happy to kind of work with any group of individuals to kind of pursue that. But really, I think the founding board for that initiative should be kind of young alumni, maybe like within the last 3 to 4 years. So if you have contacts for some of those USAC individuals and they're interested in pursuing this, I'd be happy to work with them to kind of spearhead an initiative in this regard. But I think any way we can get young alumni involved in the alumni association, we should definitely pursue that. We don't really have great engagement, in my opinion, with younger alumni, and so that's something that we should really work on. And I think that would also allow us to work more closely with students as well. So let me know. I'm happy to help kind of guide that initiative if there's interest.
Thank you so much, Steve. Good to hear from you. And last but not least, Michael Lord.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I really don't have anything. Really finalized something for Anna's office. So we're in Health Festival and Friday and just working my way through all the other stuff. And here for whatever you guys need. Yep. Good job. Because there's an event in Hawaii, and so I can't.
Did it say that outside?
Probably not. I don't invite you.
Hey, hi, hello. I assume that everyone can hear me. My name is Jonathan. Hi, you should know I never know anything. What's new in SGS land? I sent out to you all that feedback form again that I sent to you last week, or dropped in the chat last week, about feedback on trainings and transitions. Really want to make that as smooth as possible for the incoming council. And you all are our best group to tell us what we can do better. So please make your voice heard on that. It would be greatly appreciated by me and everyone at SGS. And on the topic of transitions, please be sure to keep filling out that transition form that Jack has sent out. I can put that in a Slack again at some point also. And just be thinking about transitions broadly, that's coming up, I think. I'm sure you know it's quite soon. It's quite soon. Last thing I have is just as a general piece for any office that's doing any sort of honorarium contracting. I know there's been some confusion, so I just want to make it clear with you all. If any of your offices or the organizations that are directly sponsored by your office are entering into any sort of honorarium contract, whether that's a photographer, it's a speaker, it's a performer, whatever it may be, that all needs to come through me. We will be the ones contracting for those things. The civil performance agreement that's on the USAC website, we're in the process of updating that to make it clear, but that is only for registered campus organizations that are not a part of USAC. So offer letters, anything, doesn't matter the dollar amount, contract should be coming through me. But thank you for the kindness in the comments. And then lastly, especially if I haven't yet to meet you in person, I'd love for you to drop by the office. We're in A-level in Ackerman behind a little window. You can just tell them you're gonna come say hi to me. That's totally cool. Come and see if I'm free. And just generally if you need any help, you think you know how to get to me. Okay, bye. Have a good Tuesday.
Thank you. All right, now we'll get into new business. I see a resolution is up here, so hand the floor to Alicia.
Yes, it's a resolution I made with Eliana, but she will present it this week.
Thanks, Alicia. I've been great working with you on this. So yeah. First of all, I know we had like some controversy last week. Just want to say, talk with Anna, heard her concerns. Right now, we're presenting it basically the same, just because like we have some disagreements, but we can talk about it. Maybe we can change some stuff. Anyhow, and Alicia, it was great working with you on this. Thank you, Naomi and Daniela as well. So, can't share my screen. Someone either, I can just drop it in the chat, but if someone could let me share my screen or pull up the resolution on their screen, that'd be cool. Okay, now I can share it. Thank you. So here's a resolution to mandate masking and bivalent booster, introduce universal hybrid access, and reinstate the COVID-19 task force by Alicia Verdugo, Eliana Sisman, and Naomi Hammond. Whereas Undergraduate Student Association's council highest priority is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the students, faculty, and staff, and whereas the university's COVID-19 Denialist Task Force Infectious Diseases Management Team has removed the need for negative COVID test and isolation, and the XBB.1.5, also known as Kraken variant of COVID-19 virus, has driven positive case and hospitalization rates in the city of Los Angeles up to levels not seen since vaccines were made highly available. And whereas discontinuation of vending machines for PCR test drop-offs are very dangerous to the UCLA community, especially because in this past week, LA County reported 53 more COVID-related deaths, 2,731 new cases, and the state, local, and federal levels of government are denying the existence of the pandemic. And whereas 90% of all American adults who have previously had COVID and 7.5% of all American adults have long COVID, according to the US Census Bureau's Household Pulse Survey, which has a sample size of hundreds of thousands of people. Okay, I think I already saw this, so I'll just summarize the rest of it. So UCLA so hasn't had us, haven't done a bunch of education or anything on the bivalent booster yet, although Anna said she's working on it, so shout out to her for that. Okay, a lot of folks don't know how dangerous it is to get COVID, and that even if you got it, repeatedly getting it is a lot worse than getting it once, and it can lead to a lot of bad things, like it can damage brain, kidney, the digestive system, the heart, basically everything in your body, whereas our federal government is not handling this well, whereas when you have like Davos or whatever with our ruling class, they definitely look out for themselves, but screw the rest of us as far as some of them are concerned. Whereas we don't have good enough ventilation, whereas we still need hybrid learning. Everyone needs that option, but especially for students of color, disabled, parenting, international, and commuter students. Whereas, none of the students want hybrid learning. We had like 30,000 people signing the petition. We had a whole big sit-in for it last year, the longest in UCLA history. Folks want it. So there's hybrid learning, among other things, helps us protect ourselves from COVID. So, okay, so what we're calling for is to be requiring masks, promoting testing, and having folks do testing once they're coming out of isolation. We're gonna want to have the education and requirement for bivalent boosters, want improvement of ventilation, want hybrid learning, want support for people who have long COVID, and provision of information on COVID, and finally, USAC commits to working with DSU, which I did ask about this, and students in DSU were very supportive of this, and other advocacy groups like Disability Justice Committee, which is a UC-wide group. to try and have COVID protection and accessible learning. So we're going to be advocating and doing stuff on campus and making sure our own events meet COVID safety and accessibility requirements. Okay, thanks everyone for listening. Do folks want to talk about this? Should we vote?
I guess I got a couple questions about this. Because I seen like, I guess some verbiage calling the current task force denialist or something like that. I know that I sit in some of those meetings, and I think we have a student wellness commissioner too, who sits in those meetings. So I'm just curious, like, did y'all meet with the student wellness commissioner who, it's kind of her job to do this? And also, did you actually speak with the task force about some of these issues?
I did have a good conversation with Anna. It was cool. I appreciate her taking the time. So I imagine everyone knows COVID exists, and maybe we could change that just to say that folks have been aligning with like the CDC and such, and the US our government has famously not actually managed this pandemic well in terms of having more death and long-term harm than most countries. So that's probably not ideal, but maybe we can change that a bit.
Hello. So yes, I did meet with Eliana, and there is a document somewhere. Eliana, I don't know where it is from when we met, and we kind of talked through each of the points about like why the IDMT has made some specific decisions, as well as what we're currently working on, as you said, with the boosters. Specifically the one regarding masking. I think that this one, just letting people know the reason why the IDMT decided not to. One aspect was the CDC and their guidelines, but then the other is that if there is a new variant of COVID-19 and it requires people to mask up again, we want to ensure that when there is a surge, that we have the ability to support those mandates, and that we're not implementing them when we don't have the research to back up re-implemented masks. The case count is low as it currently is, and you re-implement a mask mandate that people don't listen to because it's not enforced, because not even like staff and faculty want to enforce this mask mandate. When the time comes when a surge occurs and you do have these very high hospitalization rates, we wouldn't be able to combat it because our last line of defense is already being ignored. And that's just regarding masking itself. And when it comes to the conversation I had with Eliana, I thought that it went really well. I just don't see anything on the resolution here today, unfortunately. But thank you for taking the time to speak to me, Eliana. I do appreciate that. I do think that all of my concerns I still have, because nothing has really changed in this current resolution.
Phoebe?
Yeah, thanks y'all for writing this resolution. It's really exciting to like see all of the asks that we have, from like getting people boosted, ventilation in buildings, hybrid learning. I think these are all things that like need to be codified in terms of USAC asks and what we care about, because I think a lot of us do care about providing more of these resources, but we don't have like a formalized statement on this yet. So that's exciting. There are a couple things that I'm also like curious about whether or not like we could change it or improve some of the things. One is like, going back to like the whole COVID-19 task force thing. I do think like the infectious disease task force, like the reason like it became that like after like the COVID-19 task force is because like, other diseases like monkeypox came up. So I'm not exactly sure whether or not like we should like ask for a specific COVID-19 task force. I kind of like that like all of the infectious diseases, like they're like, it's like this, like a singular group, like considering like these movements, like I think it would make sense that like we like keep it the infectious disease task force. And then regarding the mask mandate, I think Anna does bring up some good points in terms of like students potentially not taking a mask mandate seriously when like there's even more cases. But I think it could be good to like figure out how we might be able to rephrase the language a bit. Like if we're like trying to encourage and get more students like to wear masks, like maybe there's a different way we could go about it. Because I agree, like a mask mandate would honestly help me personally, because like honestly, like my habits with masking are a little poor. Like I could definitely mask more, and a mandate would help me like facilitate that. But I don't think that effect works for everybody. So maybe we can like think about whether or not we want to adjust that, but also no worries if not.
I agree with everything you just said. So, and then looking at this, I think you're missing a sponsor as well. Supposed to be one main sponsor, three co-sponsors, correct? Not three, or just two.
I mean, they can all just be free sponsors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I personally feel that it's like a conversation needs to be had with the SWC. And I feel like a representative from the infectious disease management team regarding this, because currently I understand it seems like this is kind of written without, actually taking into account like a conversation with some of them. And so I think if a conversation is had, and obviously there's some good things in here that you're asking for as well. If you go and ask for those and that's not, there's no help being put towards that, then maybe a resolution could, be the way we go about it. But maybe, we should like actually have a conversation with people who have been elected by the student body to actually focus on these specific issues. Stevie, I think that's a great idea too. Yeah, we can see if we can get the chair of the task force to come. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can do like another week to like talk with folks and change a few things. I know the Disability Justice Committee, which I mentioned, had like a framework of not quite a mask mandate, but allowing like folks who are immunocompromised to ask for masking in like their classrooms and stuff, and have maybe hopefully have that be enforced. Says I think it should at least go that far, but yeah, at least yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So,
Okay. So yeah, since this is a voting item, do you want to, I mean, you can make a motion to table it the next week or indefinitely until, because I don't know if you'll be able to get a meeting with them, just next week. So indefinitely, like until I think the conversation brought up again, correct? Right? If we table it indefinitely, it means like she could bring the conversation up in like a 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however long it takes her. Instead of this.
I mean, usually if you're tabling it indefinitely, the intention is that it's not ever gonna step up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could just table it.
Just table it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so are you comfortable with, like, let's table this and like, let's see if we can get you a conversation, or let's get you a conversation with, the head of the IDMT, and also make sure that we have the student wellness commissioner
yeah,
involved.
that should be good. Thank you, appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Eliana, for the great work. We know that you're just trying to advocate for your community and the greater community, so we appreciate you, okay?
Appreciate it, Carl. Appreciate that a lot. And shout out to Alicia, because she's been doing amazing work on all this stuff.
We have to table? Yeah, can someone do a motion to table this? I motion to table this resolution. Okay, your motion is, Anna seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. All right, everyone lower their hands. Everyone, please. Everyone, lower your hand. One. All right. All again, please raise your hand. All that thing, please raise your hand. All right, we only got 11 votes and, majority. So by 11 votes, the motion, is approved and we're moving to table this. So, student one commissioner, Eliana, we'll get together and we'll, figure out a meeting with the IDMT to, figure these things out, okay? All right, next up, we have the Article 4, Section B, bylaw changes by Daniela.
I have a couple of bylaw changes for you all tonight. So this is the first of a few. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And this one is pretty simple, but I'll explain it. So Article 4 is basically what outlines all of our office duties. So for AAC, Section B.5 outlines some of AAC's permanent duties. So today I'm proposing that because FSC has been running the iClicker rental program throughout the last couple of years that I've been witness to it, and AAC hasn't really been a part of it, though we did try to collaborate on it in the fall. We're proposing to replace that bylaw with the grad prep material rental program that my office just launched this quarter. We do have some books that are sitting in our office that we were able to rent out a couple during this first round. So we want to continue to preserve those books and the utility of it for students to be able to maximize from in the future. So I just wanted to bring this all to you and see how we can move forward with the vote. But if there's any questions that I can answer, I would love to.
I have a question. Was this the first time it was introduced? Like, what's that 5-day period? Wait, is that done?
The grad prep material rental program?
Before like introducing constitution, bylaw change, we have to wait a certain amount of time for the public to see it.
Yeah.
This was on the agenda last week and it was actually tabled because we lost quorum.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone else have any questions, concerns, or comments regarding this? If not, can we get a motion?
I second.
Sarah, motion. Keelan seconds, all in favor, please raise your hand. All right. All right, yeah, by vote 2-0 to 0, the motion passes, and that bylaw change, Article 4, Section B.5 -22 is approved. All right, got another.
Yes, thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen for the TGMF bylaw change and the ASRF one. Oh, sorry, the ASRF one. The TGMF guideline change is exactly the same as the one that I'm presenting to you all currently. But there are actually a few. So I am trying to correct the form that folks submit their applications for ASRF and TGMF. Currently in the guidelines, it says that they're to submit it by email, but we have an application that is live on the USAC Programming Funds website, and we review that more consistently, especially because of the fact that with staff turnover in the fall, we lost access to the TGMF and ASRF emails. So there are applications that are coming through that way. And students haven't been able to find out about the shift to the AAC email that we did also vote that into a bylaw change last quarter. Then it would inevitably not be reviewed on time. Unfortunately, so this is why we're trying to correct all of these guidelines now. In addition to deadlines, we want to make sure that folks have the ability to apply to funds well in advance, but that we're also creating a system that's sustainable for the students that direct and manage these funds. So what we're asking to do is that we implement some deadlines for both ASRF and TGMF. So essentially, these funds would run throughout the quarters from week 1 through week 10. or until we max out our quarterly allocation for ASRF and TGMF. So for ASRF, we try to allocate around $6,000 a quarter, given that we're only given $18,000 a year. And for TGMF, it's $10,000 a quarter because we're only given $30,000 a year. But the reason why I didn't state those values explicitly in the guidelines is because these values are subject to change every year depending on admit rates and student fees collection since they are referenda. And I also added a piece here to facilitate campus-wide transparency about the access of our funds, that moving forward, AC's finance directors are to make weekly updates about the status of remaining funds. Like I've been doing this quarter with you all, either via council meetings, public comments, or through social media through the AAC page. So just to make sure that there's facilitation and direction for whoever runs these funds in the future, and for folks that apply to our funds in the future as well. So that is ASRF, and then to show you all the TGMF ones as well. Like I said, they're exactly the same. We just corrected to submit via the website as opposed to the email, and then we also added information about the deadlines and ways for us to support campus-wide transparency and knowledge about available funds. So if there are any questions about these two guideline changes, please let me know.
All right. Okay, if no one has any questions, so you went over both, correct, Dan? Oh, wait, Eliana, you got your hand raised?
Sorry, just forgot the lower it.
No problem. Okay, if no one has any questions, Danielle, you did go over both, correct?
I did, yes.
Okay, awesome. Can we get we'll do two separate votes? So can someone motion for the person, please?
I motion to approve academic success referendum guidelines, section B deadlines. Section 5.
All right, you have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, by vote 12-0, the motion passes, and the bylaw change is approved. All right, can we get a motion for the next one?
I'm going to approve the president and the fund guidelines.
All right. I'm sorry, Sarah motion, and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. By a vote 12-0, the motion passes, and the travel grant mini fund guideline section 4 deadlines are approved. All right, next up, we have the Anna show up tonight. All right. So yeah, Anna from Elections Board is here to talk about funding issue with currently with the election. So I'll give her the floor.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you guys also for having me. I also have my Director of Finance, Tushar Roy, here with me. He's just gonna jump in at some points because he knows like the technicalities and stuff. But yeah, basically I just want to kind of lay out a timeline for you guys and then kind of go into, you know, what Elections Board sees as like potential outcomes maybe of what we're discussing. So first off, what we believe happened, according to this timeline, is before I was ever confirmed or appointed whatever as chair, our budget was like voted to be reduced by about $4,000, which, you know, that's your guys' prerogative. The kind of area where this gets messy is that ever since I was appointed and confirmed, up until a week ago, Elections Board has been operating on the assumption that we were working with last year's budget, because that is what SGA provided us. And SGA shared with us that it was about 3 weeks ago that our budget was reflected or was adjusted to accurately reflect the subtraction of the $4,000. They did not tell us when they made that adjustment. And if they did, I would have been here 3 weeks ago, but I'm here now. And so we found out, I think, on Thursday of last week. So I am basically here to talk with you guys. Before I explore solutions with you guys, I would, I think just for the benefit of this conversation, go into consequences. So without this so let me back up a little bit. As I'm sure you guys have seen around campus, our banners are like kiosks, you've seen our ASUCLA ads, you've seen our TikToks. That is all from an extensive marketing contract we've made with Bruin Media Group that I was really excited to do this year that previous chairs have not done. So this was really cool for us to explore. And I think that's a large reason why we doubled the number of candidates we usually have, was because of that marketing campaign. And that was a year-long contract that I committed to in the fall, with the thought that we still had that $4,000. So something we've already done is we've put that contract on pause. So right now we would have been advertising, endorsing candidates and debates. We're going to be doing that from our social medias, but you won't see that across campus anymore. Another thing is that we've had to severely readjust candidate reimbursements. And we have also received, word from candidates that, it's obviously, as you guys know, you guys ran for USAC. It can be a financial burden. And we want to prevent that as much as possible. Specific numbers, our code says that we can only reimburse candidates up to 200. So before, when we had like half the candidates we have, it would be up to 200. This year, when we thought we still had the 4,000, we were thinking it was going to be 125. So in candidate orientation and stuff, we said it's going to be 125. Now it's looking like it's going to be 75. So that is something I think if we were to get that 4,000 back, that would be one of the first things we put back to normal, is reimbursing candidates as much as possible. And then kind of stemming from that marketing contract that I talked about, that was going to be a big help for us for voter turnout. And if, we have to indefinitely pause that contract, right? Our voter turnout strategy is going to be more what previous chairs and elections board have done, which, you guys can judge how effective that was or not. But, one of the big things I talked about with you guys is improving turnout. And I thought this marketing contract would be a great way to do that. I think that we've doubled the number of candidates we normally have, is proof that those strategies work. So we're here tonight to talk about solutions. I spoke with Carl last week about this, and he pointed me to explore the, different funding that you guys have on the website that you guys just went through earlier this evening. I didn't apply to any because either they were closed or I felt like, our how we would use that money is not how the funds are described to be allocated. So yeah, that's why we're here. If we don't get that 4,000 back, that's not gonna bankrupt us, but that is going to affect how we proceed moving forward with outreach strategies and with candidate reimbursements. So yeah, we're basically here to ask if you can reallocate us the $4,000. Yeah, explore other solutions with you guys. So Tush and I would be happy to take any questions you have, but yeah, Phoebe already has something in the chat, which I appreciate. I'm gonna read, but
okay, so I just wanted to hop in a little bit. So basically, like in regards to like reallocating it, like we've already like we voted on the budget last summer, so that's the one thing that kind of sucks about voting the budget before the year starts. Is like all the money has already been allocated, so I think that 4,000, I don't know, like it shifted around and it probably went somewhere else. So the reason why, I thought it'd be good for you to come here, because, obviously there's other officers here who probably could talk a little bit about their funds and trying to find a solution to this. I do think it's unfortunate that you weren't provided the right budget or however that happened, and that you've been operating with a budget that you essentially don't have. Because like I said, that was voted on like last summer, So that's why I wanted to bring you here, because I didn't know if any council members had any ideas in regards to how we could get you that 4,000, or I can give you something for that, but I know that the actual budget that we voted on at the beginning of the year is already voted on and set, Sarah?
I don't know if this is a possibility, so I just want to ask. So for my surplus allocation is, now that it's an undergrad with only option, it's less expensive than the amount that I was allocated. Is it possible to redistribute some of those funds to the election board? Or is that like? No.
I think it could, we would need to make sure to hold a vote to do that reallocation, just so it's very clear for the minutes and the budget. But it seems like that would be fine. So whatever happening, add to your agenda next week to vote on.
Okay. How much would you be able to get, do you know?
I think about like 4,000 per time.
Anna, would that be cool for it to be next Tuesday?
yeah, no, I can definitely come. I just want to recap, and I wish I came in person, so I could talk to you guys face to face, but so you guys would be voting on that reallocation next Tuesday. I would be there, of course. And then this is something Phoebe asked me in the chat, was when we need the money by. My response is it's more like ideally as soon as possible, because the election ends week 6. So yeah, a lot of gears already in motion. But so if that reallocation from FSC were to happen, when would we see that money?
We could, if it's voted on next Tuesday, we could make that available the same week through SGA. So you just need to do a budget transfer for that, so we can help with the paperwork, get it moving forward.
Just can we vote on it today, we add it to the agenda, have 3/4, make an action item?
You can technically, yes.
Yeah.
Best practice is if it can't wait to let the students.
Sarah, it's fine. Sarah wants to vote in the next week anyway, because she needs to.
Yeah.
So I mean, Anna, the fastest you'll be able to get it is next week. We're gonna vote on it Tuesday. Sarah has to go back, and she's been very good. Thanks so much to Sarah. She has to go back and make sure that she's actually gonna have a 4,000 get and finalize the rest she did get. Okay.
No, yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you guys for hearing me out on this. Of course, if it's not gonna be 4,000, we'll take it still. So thank you guys so much for your help. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to email us as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Okay.
Yeah,
Also,
thank you for having us.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to make sure it doesn't happen next year, like if the budget gets changed for like the election board or something like that. Because I know we always elect the election board chair after the budget has already been approved, so it makes sense why this happened, but.
Yeah, and I think that was part of the discussion too. If I remember during the summer, that was part of the consideration, but I think at the time, council had thought that, we could make adjustments when surplus became available. I think that this opportunity, that would have been a good chance to replenish some of that budget, that needed to be adjusted so that the budget would balance. But yeah, definitely, we're happy to work with your team, Anna, and future election board chairs, let us know how we can support and make sure that that is clear, when you're starting next year.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a discussion I had with my team this week too, is even if you guys decide that next year 12 or we won't have the 4,000, that's just, we totally could have had effective outreach strategies with the correct amount in mind. So yeah, definitely a learning experience for us. But yeah, right before I hop off, thank you guys again for your willingness to help. And I will see you all next week.
Thank you. All right, moving forward, USAC discussion / action on supporting Amanda Finley Smith and Black Bruins. So Eliana and Naomi.
Hi. So yeah, Naomi, you can speak if you want, up to you. I can, but you can speak because you'd be smarter than I am on this issue.
Don't say that, babe. Okay, cool. So yeah, as Eliana linked to the Instagram post on the doc, I really highly recommend people read through kind of what has happened. But I'll just give a brief little summary. So Finzi was the interim director for the BBRC for the past, I want to say more than a year, past 2 years, I believe, has been really working hard to establish space, keep it running, hire folks. She also works with the College Corps program, and I've heard from people in that program that she's done an amazing job as well. She's really just opened the doors for folks, and it's just been a real honor to see her success in the stage that she's been placed in. So I want to say, I don't know what quarter it was. I believe it was winter quarter. But there were several interviews with different candidates for the BBRC as they were looking to hire somebody full time. She was just the interim director. I sat on one of the student interviews, and from me and the other students that were there, I talked to them after. Most of us gave positive overall reviews for Finzi, to the hiring team that they had. And I just see that it's been a recurring issue, even when me, Phoebe, and Eliana sat in on the CIAE interviews, that they don't really listen to students at all. And it's honestly a real problem because we're the people that are really working with these directors, working with everybody. And so for our opinion not to be valued, it's kind of a waste of my time to sit through an interview if you're not even gonna take anything I say into consideration. So my main issue that I've seen with this decision, this hiring decision, is also the fact that students, especially Black students, weren't notified of this change. I believe I was under the impression that Monroe Gordon was supposed to send out an email to students over spring break that this change was going to occur, because she's supposed to be out of the office. Finzi's supposed to be out of the office, I believe, the end of next week. So a new person's going to come into the space, kind of learn the people that work there. It's going to be a really ugly transition, I believe. And I think it's really unfair for that to happen, especially to the students that are currently in the space, if nothing can be done with this hiring decision. If the fact that Monroe Gordon hasn't sent an email to students is honestly really, really, really sad. I believe the BBRC just posted during our USAC session, I want to say an hour ago, they just posted the new directors coming in, but still no official email from any UCLA administration is very cowardly because they know students are upset. So there is a petition going by one of the, I forgot her name, but one of the students, it is on the Instagram post, but she started a petition. We're really trying to mobilize and really just trying to see if any USAC members would like to help with this effort. Even just signing the petition I would be really thankful for the support there. I'm going to be talking to the student that started the petition and just really trying to start conversations about what can be done. Even if it's just to ensure a smooth transition into this role for the new director. But it's really disheartening to see admin not like really notify students of these changes that are going on when this is a space that one of the few spaces Black students have, where we go to get for food insecurity, where we go to the food pantry, where we're providing academic resources, where a lot of students like plan events in this space. Even CAC, I know you planned events in the BBRC. So it changes a lot of things for students. And so, yeah, that's about it from my end. Eliana, if you had anything to add, now would be the time. But yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Naomi. Great work as always. But yeah, a few things. Alicia, appreciate that. That's the link to the petition, but a few things. What are the things? Yeah, first of all, I've heard from Black Bruins that there's been issues for a while about administrators messing around with Black Bruin Resource Center in terms of trying to make it like a unwelcoming space for African Students Union, stuff like that. So looks like there's a pattern here in terms of how they treat Black Bruins and general disregard for student input. What else do I want to say? Also, I was messaging with African Students Union and they said they would like it if we could, let me pull this up. They said they would like the USAC representative to push to administration. So yeah, let's do that. And what else? I can share my screen and like show the actual Instagram and petition if folks want to see that. We'll do that. So here's Instagram from the African Students Union, just explaining this stuff, that they were withholding that information, disregarding the work that Finzi has done, and just showing how she's helped to establish these spaces, support students with food for just great for everyone, but especially for students who have food insecurity, as well as good quality of programming or personal outreach to students. And yeah, seeking good employees, creating a welcoming environment, and that there's the problems with that having someone come in who does not have this familiarity with UCLA. No offense to the new person, I'm sure they're awesome, but just like what they'd be missing out on if they do go through with this and kick out Finzi. And then here is like the actual petition. So, and by the way, the petition is by Funmi Barua, a UCLA student. And so yeah, everyone can sign that, and then we should probably could any of the admin reps in here address that? If not, we should probably get in touch with them and be like, hey, what's up? Okay. I mean, other administrators who are like in charge of these things, we should get in touch with them and be like, hey, what's up? This is an issue. Please handle this better.
I think it's something you guys need to take to about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just wanted to, Amanda, the Finzi, I call her, she's amazing, and I think it's kind of crazy the treatment by Vice Chancellor Gordon, and how this is played out. I spoke and advocated on her behalf, tried to, he apparently he was taking into students' account, and then he just blindsided us with this email that he's hiring an individual out of the blue. And there's no disrespect to the income individual. I know they're just kind of like calling the crossfire at this point. But it is kind of ridiculous the way this process went about, firstly, and then also, especially for like the interim director, the one who started it and, gave so much to the center and is beloved by so many students to just kind of be removed and, not really given a reason why. So yeah, I'll reach out to Vice Chancellor Gordon as well, see if maybe he can come to council and kind of speak to that. I think that council should continue to circulate the petition. I know this, a lot of you guys ain't Black, but it can happen to your community as well. Especially as the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs. So, you want to have that support as well when, something of similar nature happens to your community. So just share it so other people can see it as well, and they can kind of garner some support. There.
I was just wondering if there's anything beyond just sharing the petition, if there's anything that you guys would like support with or anything like that, or how we could be good allies in this.
I think we'll speak more with the Black community, Black girl community. And I think, starting out with this petition, sharing this petition, and I'm going to speak to Vice Chancellor Gordon, and just see if maybe we can have a town hall regarding this or have him come to council and speak. And then we'll probably bring some Black girls in here to kind of give public comment pretty soon. Naomi?
Yeah, seconding that, and just like when, even if it's Carl and I writing an email to Monroe Gordon, just to like really demand why we never received like a formal email indicating this director change. Just if y'all could like uplift that message. It's really honestly just a ridiculous process. We will see, like, just definitely talking to some of the Black community, also like how this transition goes. There definitely might be more support in like how certain spaces are going to be reserved now, depending on what changes come about. Because it is a new director, and definitely like she was hired. I'm no disrespect to her, but it definitely is a transition, especially in the middle of spring. It's pretty rough, especially as the African Student Union has a lot of events in spring. We have like the Black and White Ball. There is Afrograd. So those events were going to be supported by the BBRC, as I've spoken to some of the stakeholders in there. So we'll just see how it goes. But we will definitely keep you updated.
Thank you so much, Naomi and Eliana, for bringing this to council. This is very important. All right, well, that's it. Jonathan, you got something to add?
Yeah, there was one more discussion item on the agenda that.
I should that.
Okay, yeah, so just like for general practice for all council, for like transparency's sake and for the sake of following your guidance documents, anytime you're gonna remove something from the agenda, we really need that to be either done in the agenda, like edit at the beginning of the meeting, or just to be like brought to a vote. Just like straight removing something from the agenda.
I know.
Yeah, so let's avoid that in the future if possible.
Yeah. And then Alicia?
I just want to echo the concerns of a lot of my staff members in CAC and a lot of the community. I don't know what the word is, but like the lack of security and trust like continues to grow and grow with administration. The more and more these kinds of untransparent, uncommunicative, and unconsulting actions from UCLA and ASUCLA and all the entities that are not student led. And I just want to continue to support like this discussion, because like you all should be sharing this information and petition with your staff, with your platform. I really encourage that, because at the end of the day, this is overstepping on student demands and student needs at a very specific time too. And I feel that this will only continue to make Black students feel unsafe and unaccounted for in terms of like what happens to their resources and their services and the people that matter to them. Because how are you just going to remove a community member without without notice, without communication, without consulting and with the students that it affects. I just want to echo that. So please share this information and this petition with the people you can.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I'll adjourn this meeting at 8:46 p.m.